they told us these were just stories. Whispers carried through generations, tales meant to entertain the young and comfort the old. But ancient voices do not fade so easily. What if the myths were not just stories, but memories? Memories of forgotten kingdoms, of gods who walked among mortals, of battles carved into the bones of the earth. Listen closely. The past is speaking again. This is echoes of the gods. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a sense of ancient loss? A feeling that something magnificent is missing? Every culture, every corner of the earth, whispers a tale of a time before time, a time when the heavens were torn apart by war. They go by many names: the Titans in Greece, the Asuras in India, the Nephilim or the Watchers in Hebrew texts. But the story is always the same. It's the story of a great rebellion, of gods turning against gods, and of the day the gates to heaven slammed shut forever. Before history was written, before humanity even knew its own name, the cosmos was a very different place. The universe was young, and the hierarchy of the divine was still being forged. At the top sat the primordial creators, beings of pure light and thought. Beneath them were their firstborn, the Titans, the Watchers, entities of immense power and knowledge. They were the architects of reality, the ones who shaped galaxies, ignited stars, and painted the nebulae across the cosmic canvas. They were brilliant, powerful, and deeply proud. Their purpose was to serve the grand design, to be the instruments of creation. But in their perfection, a seed of dissent began to grow. They saw the raw materials of the universe not just as something to mold according to a preordained plan, but as something to possess, to master for their own glory. A faction emerged, led by the most brilliant and ambitious among them. Or perhaps it was they argued that their power entitled them to see rule, not just serve. They believed their wisdom surpassed that of their creators. This was the first spark of rebellion, a cosmic mutiny that would set the heavens ablaze. The war that followed was unlike anything our mortal minds can truly comprehend. Imagine a battle not of swords and shields, but of concepts and realities. The sky itself became the battlefield. Constellations were shattered, their stellar patterns ripped apart and scattered like dust. Gods, clad in armor of starlight and wielding weapons forged from black holes, clashed with unimaginable force. Their roars of fury were the sound of dying galaxies. Their blows were supernovas that lit up the primordial darkness. For a time, it seemed the rebels might win. Their raw power and fierce ambition were overwhelming. They pushed the loyalist armies back, cracking the very foundations of the celestial realms. Picture this: celestial beings, once radiant and whole, falling from the heavens like a shower of broken comets. They streaked across the void, their light dimming, their divinity fracturing as they plummeted from grace. Their fall was not just a physical descent. It was a fall from knowledge, from power, from their very nature. But the primordial creators, the ultimate source of all power, could not be overthrown. In a final, cataclysmic act, they moved, not to destroy the rebels, but to contain them. To sever them from the source of their power. Great portals, shimmering gateways that connected the different planes of existence, began to close one by one. Imagine vast, swirling vortexes of energy, the size of solar systems, slowly constricting. It was like watching a cosmic door slam shut, the sound echoing, not in waves, but in the sudden, deafening silence that followed. As the last portal sealed, a new order was established. The heavens were now a closed kingdom, its gates guarded, its memory of the war a deep, celestial scar. The fallen were cast down, trapped in the lower realms, in the physical world, and even deep within the earth itself. The Titans were imprisoned in Tartarus, the Watchers were bound in chains of darkness. Their connection to the divine source was severed, and their immense power began to wither, to decay over eons. And what of us? What of the fledgling worlds and the nascent life forms that witnessed this cosmic apocalypse from afar? Our distant ancestors saw it. They saw the sky burn. They saw the gods fall. They saw the heavens close. And they never forgot. That memory became the bedrock of our oldest myths. It was carved into stone, sung in hymns, and passed down through generations. The story of the fallen angels, the Titanomachy, the war between the Devas and Asuras, they are all echoes of this one singular event. It's the universe's own origin story of good and evil, of order and chaos, of loyalty and betrayal. The fallen ones, now stripped of their celestial glory, became figures of fear and temptation. They became the tricksters, the demons, the dark gods of the underworld in our mythologies. They were said to have shared forbidden knowledge with early humanity, teaching us arts and sciences, but also warfare, vanity, and greed, perhaps as a final act of defiance against the order that had cast them out. This schism created a fundamental duality in the universe: the serene, orderly heavens above, and the chaotic, turbulent world below, inhabited by the remnants of a failed rebellion. Our world, according to these myths, became a battleground for the lingering echoes of this ancient war. The struggle between our higher aspirations and our baser instincts is, in a way, a reflection of this cosmic conflict. The divine spark within us reaches for the closed heavens, while the shadow of the fallen pulls us back to the earth. Think about the archetypes that repeat in our stories: the proud king who challenges the gods and is struck down, the brilliant inventor whose creation leads to ruin, the angel who falls for love of a mortal. These are all refractions of that original fall from grace. It is a story so deeply embedded in our collective psyche that we retell it endlessly without even realizing its origin. It's the ultimate cautionary tale, a warning about the dangers of hubris, the corrupting nature of absolute power, and the catastrophic price of rebellion against the natural order. So, the next time you gaze at the constellations, remember that you might be looking at the repaired ruins of a celestial battlefield. The darkness between the stars is not just empty space. It's a silence filled with the memory of a war that defined reality itself. And the faint, distant light of a faraway galaxy might just be a glimmer from a realm that has been forever sealed off from our own. The titans have fallen, the watchers are bound, and the heavens are closed. And we are left here in the beautiful, broken world they left behind, forever looking up and wondering what we have lost. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into our mythological past. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next dive into the forgotten lore of our world. See you next time.